My name is Christopher Smith, and I'm a personal injury and civil rights attorney in Nashville, Tennessee. Today we're going to talk about depositions and how you can prepare for your deposition. This video is sort of structured from the perspective of the plaintiff, which is typically our work, representing plaintiffs in injury cases, wrongful death cases, trucking accidents, civil rights cases. But the video should have some application to pretty much any deposition. So let's just jump right into it. What is a deposition? So a deposition, think of it as an extension of the courtroom. It's often not going to be in the courtroom, right? It's going to be in a conference room or on Zoom or something like that. But it's sworn testimony taken out of court. And as I said, it's typically in a conference room setting. You might be sitting at the head of a conference table with a court reporter next to you. The attorney who's taking the deposition, asking you questions, would be seated next to you. And the idea here is that the evidence and the testimony is likely going to be admissible at trial. And it can also be used for impeachment purposes at trial. So it's an opportunity for the lawyers to size up the strengths and weaknesses of the case, and also the individuals involved in the case. I see a lot of YouTube videos that say depositions are an opportunity for the lawyers to get information, which is kind of true. It might be true, for example, on damages, or maybe if it's a third-party witness, trying to see what this person knows, what they saw. But it's actually, most of the time, more of a strategic opportunity for both sides. And so you need to think about what is the other lawyer trying to achieve, right? So it's more than just information. They're often trying to get testimony that's helpful to their side. When it comes to the deposition, I want you to think of a movie, like you're watching a movie with subtitles, but then delete the video, right? So then all that's left are the subtitles. That's basically a deposition at the end of the day, because what it's really all about is that transcript of the words of the testimony that was taken, the questions that were asked and the answers that were given. That's what the deposition is really about. So the defense, or the other side, will want to use your testimony in motions. For example, a motion for summary judgment. And if you don't know what that is, we have a video on that. You can watch that. But basically, it's an opportunity to get your whole case thrown out before trial. So it's important to understand their strategic objectives in your deposition and what they're trying to get out of your testimony and what they're trying to use the testimony for. So that could be limiting the damages, trying to spin your injuries so that you don't appear as hurt as you actually were, or that the accident involved didn't impact you in for a significant period of time, that you got better sooner, to try to drive the value of your case down. Could be that they're trying to support what's called a comparative fault defense, which would be like blaming you, the plaintiff, for somehow causing your accident or your fall or your injuries. So then it becomes very important that you understand the questions that you'll be asked and how your answers will appear on the transcript, right? So some specific tips are, first of all, try to visualize the question. Try to think about the question spelled out on a piece of paper, like written out, right? And then think about every piece of the question. Do you agree with every piece of the question? There may be some fact in there that's kind of misleadingly stated or doesn't reflect the reality of what actually happened. So if that happens and the question has got this kind of loaded thing in it where you don't agree with maybe an implicit kind of premise of the question, you don't have to answer it, right? You don't have to answer it right away. You can say, I don't understand the question, or can you rephrase the question? Or you can say, well, that part of the question isn't quite right. The next tip is to keep it short, right? Don't volunteer information. If the question is, what time did you eat dinner? The answer is simply the time that you ate dinner. You don't need to volunteer where you ate or what you ate or who was there, right? Don't speculate or guess. Just say you don't really know if you don't really know. My next tip is to review your case. Typically in a personal injury type lawsuit, the main documents you want to review are the complaint itself, which obviously your lawyer prepared, but is technically sort of what you as the plaintiff are alleging and the claims that you are making. So even though you really didn't have a lot to do with creating that document, it's sort of made on your behalf. So you need to understand what's in there and what the claims are and what the facts are. And oftentimes, as a lawsuit moves on, the initial facts, something that's stated in the first complaint may not actually be true, or maybe there's a little tweak that needs to be made to it. So, be familiar with that. And that's okay, by the way. I mean, you can amend your complaint if there's something in it that ultimately isn't totally accurate. You can always change it, or your lawyer will change it. But you want to know what's in there, right? And then you've also likely completed discovery responses like interrogatories and requests for production of documents. And again, you likely had a big role in that, but ultimately it's an attorney prepared document that's submitted by your attorney. So you want to familiarize yourself with that again, just to make sure you understand the issues in your case, the facts, the claims. You don't have to be a lawyer, right? But just understand what is at issue in the case, understand the key facts and the key legal claims, okay? Last sort of basic tip is just decorum, right? You want to dress well, you want to be respectful, you want to look presentable. You may be videotaped, and oftentimes that's the adjuster or whoever is on the other side who's determining whether to settle this case or pay you money, right? They're sizing you up and they're thinking, how does this person look? How do they behave? How do they act? How's a jury going to like this person if this goes to trial? What's the jury likely to think of this person? So all those calculations are being made, and they're being made, totally superficially based on just the way you carry yourself, how you're dressed, how you look, how you interact with opposing counsel. So you do want to keep it civil in that way. So this video has just been some basic tips along those lines. We've got a link on our website for more information. And obviously, if you're one of my clients, we'll probably have an in-depth conversation about the specifics of your case. But this is a general video to apply to all cases. So I hope it's been helpful. And if you have any questions or comments, let us know. Thanks.